Hi there, welcome to Pilates in a Flash. This is your 30-minute intense Pilates workout working our abs, hips, and thighs. Today you're going to need a pillow as a prop and 2 hand weights. Okay, I'm going for coconut milk today, so a little lighter than cans of beans. If you don't have cans and you have hand weights at home, you can use those as well. They need to be 1 pound, 2 pound, or 3 pound hand weights, so they need to be relatively light. Always make sure the space around you is cleared out and safe, and of course go at your own pace. Today we have some big moves that we're going to do, lots of hip and thigh action. So if something doesn't feel right, take a break, hit pause, or modify. Awesome, let's get started. We're going to get started on our hands and knees today. Have your weights nearby, one on one side, one on the other side of the mat. Okay, starting on the hands and knees, I'm just going to get you to go into our cat position, so rounding up, dropping the tailbone down, breathing in, nice and deep. The crown of the head goes down towards the mat, and then eyes come up. Exhale, the tailbone shoots back behind you, and the crown of the head shoots forward. I'm going to do it again. Breathe in, pulling the shoulder blades away from the spine, around the rib cage, tucking the tailbone under, filling up between the shoulder blades, and then eyes come up. Tailbone shoots back behind you. One more time. Round, tucking the tailbone, pull the belly button up. Shoulders stay away from the ears, and then extend. Good. We're going to shift the weight back, but not tuck our tailbone under, and then shift the weight forward. We're going to shift the weight back, and then forward. Okay, one more time. Back, and then forward. Excellent. We're going to pause here. We're going to grab the can in our left hand. Okay, it's going to come out into a T position. So we're going to lift up and lower. I'm going to push into my right hand, my left knee, and I'm going to start by lifting and lowering really gently. Okay, I'm working through back to shoulder, but I'm also making sure that my breastbone's not collapsed down towards the mat. So lifting breastbone, pushing into that right hand, left knee, feeling the cross kind of diagonal piece of support there. And we're going to go for 3, lift and lower, for 2, lift and lower, for 1. Good. We're going to switch. We're going to push into the left hand, right knee, tailbone stays out, little curve in the low back, pull the belly button up, lifting and lowering in that T position with our right hand. Rib cage stays lifted away from the ground, so we're not sinking our chest down towards the ground. And so the space between our shoulder blades is filled out with our ribs and our spine. Okay, we're going to go for 4, shoulder stays away from the ears on both arms. 3, 2, good, 1, excellent. We're going to grab the pillow, we're going to put it between our calf and our hamstring. So I'm going to stay on my hands underneath the shoulders. Okay, I'm going to do a little squeeze, just a gentle squeeze of my calf and my hamstring, just to squeeze on that pillow, and then I'm going to release just a little bit. I don't want to lose my pillow on the floor. So I'm going to do a tiny little squeeze and then release. While I'm here, I'm going to push into that left hand, right knee to take some of the load off of that left knee, okay? So taking the load off the left knee, do a little squeeze and release. We're going to do one more time. Squeeze and release. Bring the breastbone away from the floor. Squeeze that pillow. Now you're going to push into the left hand, right knee, and lift the leg up a little bit and lower it on down. Tap the knee down. You can point your toe. We're going to lift the leg up and lower on down. So our hips don't shift. Pushing hard into that left hand, right knee. That diagonal piece of support again. And we're just moving the thigh bone, thinking about squeezing our hamstring and our glute. As we squeeze the pillow just a little bit, it can help with that activation. We're going to go for 2 more. Lift, point the toe up, and it's very small. 1, lift and lower. Let's do the opposite side. Push back. You can shake out your hands because it's a lot for the wrists, okay? So if your wrists are starting to get overloaded, give it a good big shake. Upper arm bones as well. Upper arm bones, elbows, everything shakes. Take the pillow, put it between the right calf and the hamstring, okay? Hands underneath the shoulders. Whoopsies, my pillow's kind of tipping. I'm going to just bring my calf up against the pillow, pushing into that right hand, left knee a little bit extra so that the load is off of that right knee. So I'm not really drilling the kneecap into the mat. So I'm going to do just a couple little squeezes here. Just a couple little squeezes. As I remember to bring my breastbone away from the floor, we're going to go for 2 more. 1. Good. Push into the right hand a little extra, left knee, and we're going to lift and tap the knee down, and lift and tap the knee down. Now when we lift, we think about squeezing our bum cheeks towards each other. Hamstrings engaged on the right side to lift the thigh bone and to squeeze the pillow. Okay, try not to let the belly button come down towards the floor too much. The little curve in the low back stays exactly the same. We're gonna do one more and lower on down. Good, excellent. Moving the pillow out of the way, we're gonna come up onto our toes and push back into down dog. Okay, breathing in here, making sure again our rib cage doesn't fall. We keep the rib cage lifted. Okay, and then we're gonna float gently into a high plank. Okay, and then back into down dog. I'm gonna scooch my feet back just a little bit so that my high plank, my shoulders aren't going over my hands. Good, we're gonna float forward. They're over my wrists, but not over my hands, and then float back. Excellent, one more time. Float forward, float back. Good, we're gonna come down onto our knees. Okay, seated up nice and tall. Pillow between the upper and inner thighs. Breathing in. So I'm just going to cross my arms across my chest and just move my breastbone one direction and then back to center. I'm not leaning back yet. Moving my breastbone the opposite direction, back to center. So it's just the rib cage moving with a nice tall spine. Okay? We'll engage our abs and our obliques a little more when we lean back, but we're going to lean back in a tiny bit. I just want movement. Hips, thigh bones, pelvis doesn't move. Okay? I want you to think, when I go left, I push into my right sit bone. When I go right, I push into my left sit bone. Anchoring down to the pelvis. Okay? Good. Now we're going to flex the feet, squeeze the pillow, pull the belly in. Lean back with a nice flat back, breathing in, filling out the rib cage. So we're filling up the rib cage so that our chest isn't pressed forward, right? So that behind us, our upper back has a little bit of a curve in it, okay? Breathing in, okay, and pausing right here. Pull the low belly in, feet stay flexed, little squeeze on the pillow. Now we do that rotation again, nice and slow. Pushing into the opposite sit bone, okay? We're gonna go for 4, slowly rotate the breastbone, 3, pull the belly button in, 2, pull the low abs in, anchor down to the sit bone, 1, excellent, sit back up. Good, we're gonna do it again, we're gonna add some arms. So we're gonna lean, or sit up nice and tall, pull the belly button in, lean back. Good, arms come out in front of us, both arms are gonna come up gently, and then down, okay? Both arms come up gently, and then down. So we're thinking arm bones only, our shoulders don't lift, chin stays tucked in. If it feels a little bit easy, I want you to lean back a tiny bit more, pull the belly button in, support that little curve in the low back that's still there. Breathe into the upper rib cage. Now lift the arms. That's nice and hard and good. We're gonna go for 4, slowly lift the arm bones, keep the shoulders down as you lift. Okay, so consciously pull the shoulders down, 3, good, 2, breathe in, 1 more, arms come up, and then down. Good, excellent, sit on up. We're gonna curl to come down, articulating through our spine. You can let the legs go long in front of you, or you can bend them to grab the backs of thighs to slow the articulation down, okay? So sitting up nice and tall, tuck the tailbone under to start. So tucking the tailbone, pulling the belly button in towards the spine, okay? Continue to breathe deep and just slowly lower yourself down vertebrae by vertebrae. So there goes my tailbone, my low back. Belly button pulls in towards the spine, making that nice C shape down towards the mat. Excellent. Okay. Finding your feet here. Hands behind the head. I'm going to do a nice little ab curl, but I'm going to bring my legs up into tabletop. So one leg into tabletop, the other leg into tabletop. Anchor the tailbone here. Ab curl, so eyes on breastbone, then uncurl. Shoulders stay away from the ears. Good. We're going to go for about 8 more right here. And I want you to think, as you come up, you're curling to articulate your spine. So coming up slowly, pushing the breastbone back behind you, being conscious that your shoulders stay down the whole time, and that there's no rock in the pelvis, okay? So the pelvis doesn't rock. Keeping the chin kind of tucked in so that the head is moving backwards will help save the back of the neck. We're gonna go for 1 more. Pause. Good. We're going to do that little oblique twist again. Okay, moving our rib cage again from left to right. Keeping those legs really still, pelvis doesn't move, pull the low belly down, anchor through the tailbone. That little curve in the low back doesn't get smushed out as we do this. And the shoulders stay away from the ears. We're going for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Uncurl, legs go down. Excellent. Find those feet. Okay. Push into those feet nice and hard. Hamstrings are already on. Slowly lift the pelvis up. Pause at the top, and I want you to articulate down. So you're going to slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae, with the pelvis being the last thing to touch down. Breathe in, push into feet, shoulders away from the ears. And slowly lower yourself down. Okay, 2 more times. We're finding good articulation in our spine, hamstrings, glutes on, bum cheeks squeeze together, not under. Slowly pull that spine down towards the mat. Belly button comes in, okay? And then lower on down. 1 more. Push into feet. Slowly lift. You should feel for hamstrings, back of thighs, bum cheeks shaking a little as we slowly lift on up. Pause and lower on down. Excellent. From here, we're going to lift straight up and pause. So we're pausing here. What I want you to do is a small rotation from the hips. So I want you to think bum cheeks are engaged by squeezing towards each other, not under. I'm not lengthening my low back, okay? I'm keeping a little curve in my low back, and my pelvis is somewhat level. And I'm going to lower my right hip down 1 millimeter, then bring it back up. I'm going to lower my left hip down 1 millimeter and bring it back up. Okay, so I want you to do a small rotation. It's very hard to see. My thigh bones don't move too much. They're moving a little too much. Okay, thinking about rotating that pelvis just a little, and the glutes kind of doing a little squeeze and release. All the while, you're pushing hard into those feet for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower on down. Excellent. Lengthen out the legs in front of you. Good. Hands back behind the head. Ab curl number 2. Legs are nice and long, okay? So we're going to add the leg coming into tabletop. So we're doing this lovely ab curl. Leg comes into tabletop. Pause. I want you to lift the leg up and then lower it on down. Uncurl. Ab curl, leg into tabletop. Pause. Lift the leg up and lower it on down. Good. Uncurl. Breathe in. Ab curl, keep that pelvis still, a little curve in the low back, bring your leg into tabletop, extend the leg, and slowly and with control, lower the leg down. 1 more, bend that knee into tabletop, extend the leg towards the ceiling. Mine doesn't go right up towards the ceiling because it shifts my pelvis, right? So off on an angle is fine, and then lower it on down. Excellent. Now we're going to do ab curl, pause, lift that leg straight towards you, and then lower it on down. Ab curl, pause, hold that ab curl, lift that opposite leg up and lower on down. You're pushing into the opposite leg as well, so if I'm lifting my right leg, I'm pushing into my left leg, down into the ground to anchor down. Okay, lifting my left leg, push into the right. Good. 2 more. Ab curl, lift the leg straight up and then lower it on down. No compression in the lower back. Pelvis doesn't change shape. It stays exactly where it is. Thigh bone moves freely. Lower on down. Excellent. Okay. Coming over onto your right, let's go left side. Coming over onto your left side, take that pillow, put it underneath your ribs. This is your marker so that your ribs aren't smushing into the pillow, right? The pillow is there just to remind you to lift that rib cage up and stay long on both waistlines. Bend the bottom leg, elbows underneath the shoulder for support, and the shoulders are away from the ears. So we're not sinking down here, we're lifting up, and the shoulders are pulling down your back. You're going to lift and lower that top leg. I'm just going to make sure I'm not going to hit the can. I might hit the can, but that's okay. So lift and lower that top leg. So we're feeling for side bum. My toes and my knees are facing right in front of me, okay? So they're not opening up towards the ceiling. I'm going to think about that waistline as well as my chest. So oftentimes I'll let my ribs pop forward. I need to pull my ribs back a little bit, but without shifting through my hips, okay? We're going to lift and lower for 5, good. 4, excellent. 3, side bump. 2, 1, lift and hold. Pausing here, you're going to come halfway down and up, halfway down and up, halfway down and up, halfway down and up for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Okay, we're gonna bring the leg forward in a kick. And we're gonna bring the leg back. Hamstrings, glutes, squeeze nice and hard. Legs come forward in the kick. Leg comes back. Okay, and forward and back. One more. Leg comes forward and back. Excellent. We're going to bring that leg down and we're going to do side bridge. So I'm going to push into the bottom leg and that top side foot. Push into the bottom leg, lift and lower. Okay. Lifting up, keeping a little curve in the low back. Squeeze the bum cheeks together and lower, right? So I'm not shooting my pelvis forward and arcing my back. I'm pushing into the bottom leg, squeezing my bum cheeks together and lower on down. One more time, we lift and we hold. Hold here. Excellent. We're going to take that top arm and feed it underneath a little bit. Oh yeah, there's a pillow. That's okay. Okay, we're going to go for 3. We're going to go for 2. Top leg is strong. Bottom leg keeps pushing into that mat. 1, low belly and bum cheeks squeeze together. Good. Lower on down. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to move the pillow out of the way. And I'm going to come onto my hands and knees just for a second here. Have the weights handy. Okay. Hands and knees, I'm going to do another rounding. So I'm going to round into that cat position. Eyes come up, tailbone comes back behind me. Okay, one more time. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to float back into that down dog position. So I'm going to come up on, I'm going to lift my knees to start. Okay, so doing a little knee lift. I'm going to float the pelvis up towards the ceiling, then straighten my knees and come on back. Good. From here, I'm going to lift my right leg just a little. So I'm going to push into my hands and keep even weight into my hands. And I'm going to start to lift my leg just a little bit. And then lower it on down. I'm going to lift my left leg just a little. So push into my hands, keep the bum back in space. I'm not going to tuck my tailbone under. My tailbone's out back behind me. Squeeze my glutes, lift hamstring, glute to lift that leg, right? So intentionally squeeze the back of the leg to lift the thigh bone up towards the ceiling just a little bit. One more. Okay, up towards the ceiling just a little bit. Good. We're going to float forward into high plank. And then we're going to float back. We're going to float forward into high plank. And float back. One more time. Forward into high plank. And then back. Excellent. Coming down onto our knees. I'm going to turn around so I can do my opposite side. But before I get there, I'm going to articulate my way down. Okay? So sitting up nice and tall, legs are straight out in front of you. Okay? Curling down nice and slow. So pull the belly in, low belly in, belly button towards the spine. Breathe deeply as we go down. Vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly lowering down. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Good. Excellent. Okay. So, coming on to your right side, find that pillow, put it underneath the ribs, shoulder is over top of that elbow, okay? Nice long waistline. So lift and lower that top leg. Feel for side bum and adjust the top leg however you need to. The hip doesn't rock as you lift, so there's none of this going on, right? There's no collapsing of the rib cage or rocking of the hips. The leg lift is actually going to feel pretty small in terms of height, okay? Not going up too high here. We're going to go for about 6 more, okay? Feeling for that side bum into hip. If you don't quite feel it, send the leg bone back in space just a little. We're going to go for 4, for 3, then we're going to pulse. 2, 1. Lift, pulse, 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 pulse. I'm starting to lose it. Okay, so watch the ribs. They're not starting to hang out on the pillow. It's not what it's meant for. It's meant to remind you to lift up and keep both waistlines long. Now pause, kick the leg forward, squeeze the hamstring, kick the leg back. Kick the leg forward, kick the leg back. Hamstring glute forward, kick the leg back, but there's no change in my pelvis or my low back, right? Everything stays nice and still. So that thigh bone sweeps back behind you. 1 more. Forward, hamstring, glute, back. Good. Okay. You can leave the pillow where it is. The top leg is long, bottom leg is bent. We're going to push into that bottom leg. Lift on up to side bridge and lower on down. Shoulder away from the ear, okay? Breastbone back back in space, keep a little curve in the low back, push into the bottom leg, lift on up, and lower on down. 2 more, lift, lower belly in, belly button towards the spine, lift, hold, rotate that rib cage, hand feeds under, okay, hand comes back, it's just the rib cage that's moving, okay, and it might not move that far. 1 more, feet under, and back, lower on down, good, excellent, okie dokie. So now I'm going to use the weights, okay, coming on down, weights in hands, oopsies. Okay, arms are up and the arm bones are kind of sunk down towards the mat, okay, we're just going to do something very simple for our shoulder blades so that we can kind of encourage them to move a little bit more. But with the weights, it makes it a little more challenging. So I just want you to open up your arms into that chest fly and then close. Our spine is in a neutral position. Close your eyes, okay? I want you to visualize. So your head is down, your ribs are down. So between the shoulder blades, the ribs and the spine are on the mat. Your low ribs are down, okay? All the way down to where your natural waistline is. And you have a little curve in your low back, and your pelvis is somewhat level. Mine is not. I have to anchor the tailbone a little bit, which pops those ribs, okay? So now I need to think about abdominals pulling down towards the mat, and as I keep my pelvis in a level position. So that level position means that I have to work harder through my abdominals to keep my pelvis level, and now my spine in a neutral position with the ribs down. Now from here, shoulder blades are moving. I'm opening my arm bones. Shoulder blades are moving. As I open my arm bones, they move towards the spine. And as I close my arms, I'm going to pause at the top and give this imaginary beach ball that's between my arms a little hug. And then I'm going to open. I'm going to close, give it a little hug. I'm feeling for underneath the arm bones, the ribs, okay? The obliques maybe. Ooh, that would be great. Okay, the back working to help us give those cans and that imaginary beach ball a little hug, okay? Shoulders stay away from the ears. I don't feel my neck working. I don't feel the base of my skull and my neck or my upper traps. Good. We're going to go for 4. Pull the belly button down, get the ribs down, and do that imaginary little hug, little squeeze from underneath our arms. 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, okay, we're going to take those arms, we're going to put them out onto a V. We're going to lower them down towards the floor, and we're going to lift them up over our head just a little bit, okay? Shoulders stay down the whole time. I feel my abdominals shaking as I bring my arms towards my ears, okay? Anchor the tailbone. Excellent. Shoulders away from the ears. Good. We're going to go for 2. Shoulders stay down. The slower you do it, and the more you hold back here and adjust, the more abdominals you should feel and obliques, okay? 1 more. I'm going to do anchor the tailbone, keep the ribs down. My arms are still on that V. Excellent. I'm going to add some legs. So I'm going to straighten my legs, okay? Push down into my left leg. Lift my right leg up. Arms come up. Leg stops. Arms continue, ribs stay down, heavy through the left leg, and then switch, okay? Push down to the right leg, lift the left leg up as the arms come up, shoulders stay down, little curve in the low back, that right bum cheek is heavy into the mat, and then down. 2 more, okay? Leg comes up, heavy in the, left leg is heavy, right leg floats up, stops. Before that pelvis tips, arms continue overhead, shoulders stay down, and then down. 1 more, okay? Lift, and then down. Good, okay? Weights down, we're gonna flip over. Flipping over again, pushing yourself back into a child's pose. Okay. We're going to work through some rounding and some plank, okay? So I want you to dig your toes into the mat, shoulders away from the ears, lift the breastbone away from the floor, and untuck the tailbone, okay? From here, I want you to round into that cat position. So now the tailbone goes underneath and the top of the head goes towards the floor. We're gonna lift the spine up between the shoulder blades and we're gonna lift our knees up as well. And then lower on down. Okay, round. So I'm gonna shuffle my hands a little more underneath my shoulders. Okay, pull the belly button up, lift and lower. Okay, 2 more. Round, breathe in, pull the belly button up, lift and lower. 1 more. Round, head drops down, belly button up, lift and lower. Push back and shake out those hands. Good work. Okay, coming on down. We're gonna give our wrists a tiny bit of a break. We're almost done. We're going into our final move. We've got 2 more things to do. Again, I'm gonna curl down slowly so my legs are out in front of me. Curl down. Pull the belly button in. Breathe deeply into the rib cage. Okay, make yourself a C from pubic bone to top of head. Oh my. Okay, keep the chin tucked in and then lower it on down. Excellent. Okie dokie. So we got to go back into those hamstrings one more time. Okay. So we're gonna find those feet. Push into those feet. Lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Okay. I want you to push into the left foot, right shoulder really hard and lift that right leg in towards tabletop. Pause here. I want you to extend the leg and then bend the leg. Extend and bend. Good. Pelvis doesn't move. Heavy into that left foot. Now you're going to hold the leg out in front of you. Pause. Make sure the pelvis hasn't moved. Bum cheeks towards each other. You're going to lower the leg down a little and lift the leg up. But the pelvis doesn't tilt when you lift the leg up. So slow down and feel hamstring and glute to lower and lift that leg for 2. Good. For 1. Excellent. Lower down, bend the knee, and lower on down. Okay. Push into both feet. Lift the pelvis up. Push into the right foot. Right foot, left shoulder. But don't let that breastbone come up towards the ceiling. Let's float the left leg up. And you're going to kick the leg forward and then bend it in. Kick the leg forward and bend it in. Kick the leg forward, bum cheeks towards each other. Okay, keep pushing right foot, left shoulder. Now extend and lower down, bum cheeks keep squeezing. Hamstring lifts that leg up. Lower down, hamstring lifts the leg up. Okay, lower down, think about back of thigh. 1 more. Okay, excellent. And then lower on down. Good, perfect. Okay. Hands behind the head, shoulders away from the ears. We're going to do ab curl. Come up into that ab curl, bring your legs into tabletop. Good. We're going to extend the legs out in front of us. We're going to do a tiny little scissor. Okay? Ab curl and scissors, shoulders down away from the ears. Keep a little curve in the low back. The scissors controlled. Legs are strong for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Bend the knees, uncurl, feet down. Breathe in, ab curl. Anchor the tailbone. Good. Both legs extend out, okay, and then in, extend out, and then in, extend out, and then in. 1 more time, extend out, pause. I'm just going to move my arms, so my arms go overhead, then back to behind my head, overhead, and back to behind my head, overhead. Keep that ab curl behind my head. 1 more, head and behind my head. Uncurl. Okay, 1 more ab curl, and then we go into our final move. So ab curl, legs up. Okay, we're going to extend both legs out in front. We're going to extend both arms out behind you, and then I'm going to grab the backs of the arms, backs of the legs, and then extend them. So I'm sweeping. Okay, sweep those arms. Okay, behind us, then behind the thighs. Extend. Keep that ab curl. I've lost it. Eyes on breastbone. Okay, push the breastbone back behind you. Okay, we're not lifting. We're curling from our upper spine. 1 more. Excellent. And curl on down. Good. Okay. We're going to curl to come up. Arms come up towards the ceiling. Nod the chin. Curl to come up. Move the weights out of the way. Okay. It's too much for the wrists and this move is too big for you. Take a break, okay? Take a break, shake it out, and only do what you can, okay? So we're gonna come back. I'm gonna go through it fairly slow, okay? Because I do not want you to feel your low back or the sides of your low back, okay? The rotation that we're gonna do in this position comes from the glutes squeezing. It doesn't come from twisting your back. That is key, okay? So be very mindful that we're gonna move slow and that your glutes are gonna work hard. If you don't feel your glutes, you might be doing something wrong, okay? Okay, shoulders away from the ears. Float the knees up, push back into down dog, okay? So in the down dog position, my chest is lifted so I'm not sunk down. My shoulder blades are not squeezing towards each other. They're actually squeezing away from each other, wrapping around the rib cage, right? That is the most supportive spot, so don't let the breastbone drop. Excellent. I'm going to bring my left knee towards my nose, and I'm going to round my spine, okay, here, as I come into a high plank position. High plank rounded, my head's kind of in my t-shirt right now. Okay, and I'm going to kick the leg back out behind me, pause, lift the breastbone away from the ground, even weight in both hands. From here, I'm going to bend my knee and extend my knee, bend and extend. I'm going to rotate my thigh bone open, and now I'm going to bring my toes or my heels towards my opposite butt cheek and extend my leg, okay? So I'm looking for this extension and rotation, but I'm doing it through moving my thigh bone and only moving my pelvis a tiny bit. Good. And now we're going to come back to center, okay? Lower the leg down, come onto our knees, shake out our wrists, okay? We're going to do it again on the opposite side. This was not the best t-shirt for this, but that's okay. So we're going to lift up and back into down dog. Lift the breastbone away from the floor, okay? Float the right leg up, push into both hands. Come into high plank as you round your upper spine like you would in an ab curl, and bring the knee towards the nose. Then you kick back behind you, going back into the more down dog position. Breastbone is up towards the ceiling. I'm just going to keep everything straight first. I'm going to bend my knee and extend my knee, okay? Bend and extend. Now, I'm going to open my thigh bone. Open the thigh bone. I'm going to move my heel towards my left bum cheek, and then I'm going to kick towards the ceiling. Left leg is strong. Move my heel towards my left bum cheek and kick towards the ceiling. Low belly up. Move my heel towards my left bum cheek and kick towards the ceiling. Close my thigh bone down towards the floor, and then bring the leg down and shift it back, okay? Shaking out those wrists. It's super hard on the wrists, guys. Give it a good shake. Breathe in. Okay. Okay, on our knees, I'm going to cross my arms across my chest, rotate the ribcage one direction. Nice deep breath in. And then the opposite direction. Fill up your tummy with your breath, okay? Breathe in. Arm comes up and over, a little side bend. Okay, up and over, little side bend. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you felt your abdominals and your glutes and your thighs and everything else. So kind of a full body day. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again next week.